Hey, good morning, Choice Residential. Hope your day's off to a wonderful start. Today, I want to talk about some best practices related to negotiating repairs after a home inspection. So, the first thing to understand is that it has become very common in our market to negotiate a repair credit instead of negotiating actual repairs to be made by the seller. To just give you a little bit of background on this, once upon a time, it was very normal that sellers would, in fact, actually make the repairs leading up to closing. But there are lots of complications that can arise from that. A number of things, including that the work may not be able to be completed in time for the buyers to re-inspect and check before closing. So that could lead to some delays. There could be a dispute about the quality of the repair that was made, and the buyer wasn't happy with what the seller elected to do or how they had it fixed. There could be questions about who did the repairs. Lots of things that can come up when we are actually asking the seller to make repairs. So in our market, it evolved into the buyer and seller agreeing to a credit that they would provide to the buyer so that the buyer theoretically could have that work done after closing. Now, in my opinion, that works out better for both parties. So a way to explain this to your clients, and an important thing for your buyers, especially to understand, is that the amount of money they get may not actually be sufficient to make all of those repairs. But the goal of that repair credit negotiation is just to get as much money as you can for the buyers. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to cover all of the items in the inspection report or all of the items that were of particular importance to that buyer from the inspection report. That's important because when the buyer goes to have this work done after closing, if they have the work done after closing, and that amount of money isn't sufficient, you don't want them feeling like they got the short end of the stick. So make sure during these negotiations, you're helping the buyer understand that very clearly, that this amount of money may in fact not be enough. It's also because when the buyer starts having the work done, there could be other items that are uncovered once things are peeled away and work begins. So there could be additional costs that arise. However, the benefit to the buyer of negotiating repairs in this manner is that they are in control of the work being done. If you ask a seller to make repairs, well, they are moving out of that house. They just want to get it done as quickly and inexpensively as they can. Whereas a buyer may want a particular type or quality of contractor in there to do the work. So by getting a credit and doing the work after closing, the buyer gets to be in charge of that repair and things can be done to their standards. Now, from the seller's perspective, again, they may feel like they could actually get the work done for less than the credit that they are providing to the buyer. But the benefit, again, is that there is no lingering liability. They don't have to worry about the quality of the work. Were there any issues that they're going to get dragged into after closing, or that the buyer is going to have a reinspection or during their final walkthrough decide that they aren't satisfied with the work that was done. So the most frictionless way for the seller to ensure that they're going to move forward to a smooth closing on closing day is to agree to an amount of money. Now, again, sometimes a seller may feel like they're giving too much. A buyer may feel like they're not getting enough, but you want to help them both understand this is about getting to a common ground so that both of them can move forward to the ultimate goal, which is for one person to buy a house and one person to sell a house. Also, understand that when you are trying to get estimates, so for some buyers, as they're making decisions on what they want to ask for, or if they want to even move forward with the purchase, they want to know what kind of costs they're going to be looking at. And you, as an agent, may not have enough experience with contractors and seeing these quotes to just know that it costs X amount of dollars to fix this thing, and it's about X amount of dollars to fix that thing. So you want to bring in contractors or specialists to start giving you some pricing. One thing I want you to be aware of is that over time, contractors have become very sensitive to the fact that they would often get called out to the house to prepare a quote, only so that the buyer and the agent would use that quote in order to negotiate a repair credit, and that contractor would never ultimately actually get any work. So a lot of contractors now will actually charge in order to come out and provide the quote, and then if they get the work, they will credit that amount of money towards the final bill. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about getting contractors out to get pricing. Also, there are online services that will provide sort of instant or quick turnaround quotes for you without actually going to the house. They are either using artificial intelligence to review the report and spit out pricing, or they are having actual people look at it and draw up a repair amount. But I want you to keep in mind that these contractors are not going out to the house, so they are going to err on the side of caution. Oftentimes those quotes are inflated, And if your buyer gets stuck on those numbers, that can create a really bumpy negotiation because your buyer has a belief that they should be getting more money for those repairs than they probably will in reality. So keep all those things in mind as you navigate the repair process. Also understand the more you do this, the more you talk to contractors, the more you see repairs being made, the more you have conversations with your home inspector and allow them to educate you on what it takes and costs to make repairs. The easier this process will become for you as well, because you'll become more accustomed with the things you'll see and what the costs are to fix those items. So if you have questions about that, or if you're ever involved in a particularly difficult repair negotiation, as always, reach out to your leadership team here at Choice. We're always happy to help you navigate those experiences. So until next time, take care.